Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jerry, and today we have my Week 12 picks where I'm going to go through all the games, and I'm going to let you know who's going to win. We're going to go over Moneyline against the spread, as well as do a score prediction, and we have had a few perfect predictions this year. Obviously, you can go back, look at some of my review videos. Haven't really been doing those as much because they don't really get a lot of views, and they take a really long time to make, and I feel like I get enough valuable information out in the power rankings videos. So let me know what you think of that down below, but let's get right into this one, starting with Thursday night football, Steelers at Browns. Now, I originally thought that this was going to be a shithole of a game, and I think it still very well could be. I think the Steelers are definitely going to win, but Jameis Winston was throwing the ball all over the place last week. Nick Chubb hasn't gotten going yet, but always could, and I don't think we can forget that. So I think with how the Steelers defense has been rolling, it is going to be tough. I would put money on a Jameis Winston interception. Feel like that's just bound to happen. But yeah, with how well the Steelers defense has been playing, and then with Russell Wilson coming in, their offense looking even better, I think it's going to be, I have the score being a little closer than you might think, and the spread's only plus 3.5 in Cleveland, but I'm taking the Steelers to win this one 24-17. I think it is going to be very defensive, but like I said, Jameis Winston can throw the ball anywhere. Russell Wilson has a great deep ball, and they've been running the ball pretty well over there as well. So I got the Steelers 24, Browns 17. Next we have Giants Buccaneers. I have this one little closer than you might think. Initially, I put the Buccaneers scoring 27 because I still have a lot of confidence in their offense despite the injuries that they've had to deal with. I think Cade Otton and Rachaad White offer enough to be able to produce some offense, and I ultimately think they're going to win the game, but I think Tommy Cutlets is going to come in there. And, you know, when there's a change, somebody comes in week one and they come out hot. And now didn't necessarily happen for the Cowboys, but Tommy Cutlets had his chance last year, and he did deliver very rarely, but he delivered. And I think that I think they're just going to find ways to put up points. Tyrone Tracy's looked really good over there. And I think Devin Singletary kind of been phased out, but he deserves a bit of a role. I think Tyrone Tracy was a little injured too, so have to watch out for that. But I have the Buccaneers, I believe, I have the wrong line up here. The Buccaneers are favored in this one, so it's plus 3.5 for the Giants, but I'm taking the Buccaneers, doesn't matter. Either way, I'm taking the Buccaneers 27-21, although the Giants have found ways to stay close in games with their defense, but I'm taking the Buccaneers 27-21. Next, we have the Bears-Vikings. Now, I have a close loss for the Bears because that's just typically what they do. Name a game, and it's and they lose. Like, if it's close, they lose. 5-17 is Matt Eberflus's record in one-score games, which is not a great stat to throw out, but I think the Bears offense showed some optimism with Thomas Brown coming in and using the same playbook that Shane Waldron was using, but calling a different series of plays, more fitted to the offense, more including Roschon Johnson, and I think giving the offense more of an opportunity. I actually just saw today, Thomas Brown had a quote that was, "We want to create as many unsackable plays for Caleb as possible." And I thought, wow, what a genius, simple thing to say. And I think if he can execute on that, I think he can do a good job, but he's going to have his work cut out for him going against one of the better defenses in the league right now, Brian Flores. So I think Brian Flores is going to be able to scheme up to attack the rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams. And I think the Vikings offense will do enough to keep them in the game, although they've definitely kind of slouched off and not been as good in these past few weeks. We see Sam Darnold start to Sam Darnold again. And as much as it is nice to have, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, I would say Aaron Jones not really having as good of a year as you would expect. And I think Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison's still there, but I think you're starting to see some of the flaws in Sam Darnold. And I think a strong Bears defense as well could keep the game closer, but of course resulting in a Bears loss because that's how the Bears do it. Next, we have the Panthers-Chiefs. Doesn't really deserve much talking about this one. I think the Chiefs are going to roll all over the Panthers, even in a Panthers team that has looked good in prior weeks. The Chiefs have now lost a game, so maybe the Panthers are on their high horse and they're like, oh, we have a game at home, and maybe no, they don't have a chance. Chiefs are going to win, reversing their score, winning 31-13. And then we have the Commanders-Cowboys. This is another one where I don't need to tell you very much because Commanders are going to win. I think 10.5 is way too small of a margin, which is a huge margin to begin with, but the Commanders have been, in my opinion, better on defense. They've been better on offense, and they just have a lot more going for them. So I think the Cowboys are screwed, and they're going to get smoked in this one, 31-10. Next, we have the Dolphins Patriots. I got the Patriots covering in this one, a wide margin for a Dolphins team that's been in some close games. Obviously, they get a 15-point win over the Raiders. You might put the Raiders in a similar category as the Patriots right now, at least based on their record. I would say the Patriots have been a lot better than the Raiders, at least offensively, where, Drake May has really kind of taken over that team and has been able to do some special things in his first year in the NFL. Whereas on the Raiders, you really have just, they throw the ball to Brock Bowers and he gets a lot of yards and makes plays, but that's kind of the extent of the offense. And I think Drake May has done a good job distributing the ball. I still think they do an okay job running the ball. Although fumbling, more than anybody in the league, I think even Drake May with his legs can offer something that I don't know if the Dolphins will be able to take care of. So I have the Patriots keeping this one close. I think the margin is a little bit too wide at 7 points. So I got them covering, but the Dolphins winning 24-20. Next, we have the Texans Titans. This is another one. The Titans really haven't shown too much promise. I got a bunch of messages on should I start or should I sit Tony Pollard this week. I do have him in fantasy. Luckily, I have some depth at running back, so we don't have to start him. But I think Tony Pollard's been good this year, and I think with the emergence of Calvin Ridley in these past few weeks, I think that could be an upside. I think they're making the wrong choice at quarterback with keeping Will Levis. And as much as I love how Will Levis plays football, he's not very good at it. He just has the heart for it. So Mayo Man sounds like he's going to be back there, and it sounds like he's probably going to turn the ball over and make it so that the Titans don't score very many points against the Texans, and the Texans blow them out in a much-needed blowout win with a lot of close games and playing down to their opponents. Obviously, they break that trend last week against the Cowboys, but I think they're going to break it again, winning 28-13. Next, we have the Colts Lions. Lions, they just put up a lot of points, so to give them anything less than 38 seemed wrong. I think the Colts do get a win over the Jets. I don't think the Jets are a very impressive team, and I was impressed it was only 7.5 points. So I do think that, Anthony Richardson offers, the ability with his legs, making it difficult at times, but I don't think it could possibly be enough to keep up with the Lions with how well their offense has performed, that offensive line being one of the best in the league, and then their defense being able to hold up enough and not have to do too much, although the stats would show that they do very well, I would assume, because the morale of the team that they're playing just gets so defeated when they're down by so many points. So I think the Colts are able to put up more points than the Jaguars, but that's not really saying very much. So I have the Colts losing 21-38 against the Lions. And then we have the Raiders Broncos. Just talked about the Raiders, how they can get the ball down the field with Brock Bowers, but that seems to be the extent of their offense. And the Broncos, on the other hand, Bo Nix has looked like a great quarterback in this league and has a legendary rookie week last week. And I think that only continues to go up, as well as the Broncos defense. I think they'll be able to mask the strengths, the very few strengths of that Raiders team and slow them down. But I think, Broncos defense isn't perfect. So I don't know. I just thought that the Raiders they put up 19 last week. I thought, they could probably put up 14-17, but they might not even reach 10, again, with how well the Broncos defense has played. But I think they'll get down the field, and I think when they get down the field, they'll get in the end zone. So we don't have any field goals. We just have the Broncos winning 28-17, covering the spread against the Raiders. And then we have the Packers 49ers. Packers, honestly, a very underwhelming and disappointing performance if you're a Packers fan last week against the Bears, who I'm assuming you thought you were going to dominate. And the Bears really played winning football, but neither did the 49ers or the Packers, I would say, in their two games. 49ers losing to the Seahawks, looking for a get-right week. They just got to see, the Packers kind of play down to their opponent, and they did the same thing. I think they're both looking for get-right weeks, but I like the roster on the 49ers a little bit more, so I'm taking them with a pretty large win over the Packers, winning 28-17. Again, I think they're looking for a get-right week. I think Christian McCaffrey can help do that, and I think the Packers are going to have a tough time shutting them down, as the Bears haven't really looked great on offense, and the Packers weren't able to stop them. So I think 49ers get going on offense. Brock Purdy's got to not turn the ball over. And the defense, I think, will just have to play well enough and, be prepared for Jordan Love to try to turn the ball over. So I got the 49ers winning this one in Green Bay. Going to be a very cold game. Another thing to consider, maybe won't be that many points. Now that I look back, that's probably true. It's probably a lower scoring game. Maybe it's 17-21. I still think the 49ers cover. Actually, the +3. So yeah, I got the 49ers all the way, 28-17. Next we have the Seahawks Cardinals. This one was really tough for me because the Seahawks get a nice win over the 49ers last week. Cardinals coming out of a bye, been in a good situation and had some good wins these last few weeks and have really started to find themselves. I think Kyler Murray being an effective use of his legs while still throwing the ball well, getting Marvin Harrison Jr. involved a little bit, and just getting James Conner involved in every way possible, whether it be on the ground or through the air. And I think that will result in a Cardinals win, but I think the Seahawks will keep it close. Seahawks have been a very hit or miss team this year where they can go out and beat a team like the 49ers or they can lose a game you'd never expect. So I think they keep it close in this one, but I think the Cardinals take them down 24-20, having a good season this year. And then the Rams-Eagles, I think, with the Rams slowly getting healthier throughout the weeks, I think their offense is going to continue to produce, and I think they'll be able to keep in this game against the Eagles, but the Eagles ultimately take them down, winning 27-24, looking like a very dominant team in recent weeks. So I think if the Eagles can keep that up, I think you get a little bit tougher of an opponent than these last few weeks, being against the Rams here. But I think the Eagles can win this game, and I think the Rams are just, their defense very young, and I think they're going to have a tough time slowing down Saquon Barkley. So I think the Eagles are going to take them down, only winning by 3, though, 27-24, covering that spread. And then I believe lastly here we have the Chargers-Ravens, and Chargers at home, which never really at home, typically away team at SoFi ends up being the home team. But +3.5 I thought was kind of a surprise to me with how well the Chargers have played all around, whereas the Ravens have found ways to lose games that they probably shouldn't. They played close games against the Bengals. And then, their defense really hasn't done well all year, whereas the Chargers has had one of the better defenses in the league, and their offense has been able to produce enough, without even really utilizing the full amount or the full ability of Justin Herbert. They've been able to do it on the ground with J.K. Dobbins and Matlock, the big, defensive tackle fullback coming in, making big plays. There's a lot of creativeness and the Lad McConkey showing out. A lot of upside, I think, on the Chargers side as far as their young talent showing out, whether it be running the ball or passing the ball. And I think just the completeness of, I think the Ravens offense, I would say, is definitely better than the Chargers offense, but I think the Chargers defense is just worlds better than the Ravens defense, who's really lacked this year and been the reason they've lost games and other teams have been able to even stay in games. So I think the Chargers win this one despite not being favored, although the Chargers will have their work cut out for them stopping Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. But at +3.5, I would take that one. That might be my lock there. But I'm taking them to win 28-24, and that's going to do it. Last week we have to go over my all-season record. Straight up, we're 111-55. Against the spread, 86-80. The better rushing team, which if you haven't seen before, better rushing team is a very subjective of me, deciding, but it's whoever runs the ball better, whether it be yards per carry or total yards, or just, if there's one big long run and that affects the yards per carry, I don't take that into account. It is, again, it's an objective thing that I'm just kind of choosing, but I thought it was interesting because I noticed over the past few years that the team that ran the ball better typically wins the game. So I like to keep track of it. And you could obviously say that that's because if the team is winning, they're going to run the ball to run out the clock. Could be true. Try not to factor that in. But either way, doing better than me this year at 112-44. So let me know what you think down below. What picks am I right or wrong about? It's going to be it for this one. Thank you for watching and have a great day.